Hey everyone, my name is Austin, and hey, this is just gonna be a normal talk between, you and me. And, basically, I want to talk about, the 2010s, right? The 2010s. Wow. It's crazy to think that I'm already 18, and, my childhood is basically over now, right? And obviously, as I grow older, I get to experience new things, right? I get to experience and, maybe find love, maybe perhaps find success, maybe perhaps find whatever it is in life that, I guess God, I don't know, fate, whatever, is given to us, right? What he is. But as we continue, our journey for the future and beyond, right? As I, and many others, grow up and stuff, I think it's important to look back on, the decade before, Yeah, the 2010s were something else, man. They were something else. Why did I want to talk about the 2010s? Well, it's because I was listening to Gangnam Style. I was listening to Gangnam Style, and then I was like, God damn, this takes me back, dude. This takes me back. Like Gangnam Style, like oh man. And then I was listening to like Happy by Pharrell Williams. I was listening to What Makes You So Beautiful by One Direction. I was listening to Party Rock Anthem and all those other songs, right? California Girls. I was like, shit, dude. I was like, why am I feeling so nostalgic listening to these songs, man? It's crazy to think that a decade has passed and wow, I will never be able to experience those times ever again. When life was so much simpler and all we had to worry about was... Actually, I don't know. I was a child back then. I literally don't know what was going on in the world. I mean, I know YouTube was at its peak during that time. Well, during that time, right? The early 2010s. Yeah, and speaking of that, yeah, like early 2010s was a great time, right? It was a great time. Like YouTube was peaking, right? Like 2012, right? 2012, where the world was gonna end. That was pretty cool, right? Personally, I had a good time. I moved from Vietnam to Texas at that time, and then I became a Texan. Woo! Because before that, I was born in Michigan, in the state of Michigan in the U.S. And then I went to Vietnam for a year to learn my first language, aka Vietnamese. During 2011, 2012, came here to Texas to come back to my home country. And yeah, ever since then I've been living here. Yeah, ever since then I've been just chilling out. I've been in this very house since fucking 2011, 2012. It's crazy to think that, man. It's crazy to think that back in the day I was just a small itty bitty child, and now I'm a grown ass man who can't even fucking who doesn't have any income, and all he does is just record videos in his fucking bedroom. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I think 2012 Austin would have appreciated the Among Us poster. Right there. Yeah. I think 2012 Austin would have appreciated that, right? The Among Us poster. The Among Us poster that 2023 Austin left over there. I know. I would definitely be proud. But man, those times were different back then. Yeah. Times were simpler. But also the 2010s was rough. I would say 2016 when Harambe died. Everything's just turned to shit, Like Donald Trump became a thing, and the world was a mess in 2020 with coronavirus. I will say late 2010s is not something that most people want to remember because YouTube also became shit too, around late 2010s. So yeah, even though 2010s was good in its early years, and then obviously shittier in its later years, those years were my childhood, and I wanted to remember that because obviously as I move on and as I grow up and stuff like that, I will experience better things. Obviously I will experience cooler things, horrible things. I'll experience the best of things, the worst of things. Right? I'll get to experience more of that, as I mature and become an epic adult, and I as I conform to society, epic Joker face right here. As I, become all this and that, I just wanted to just remember the decade before, That's basically the message. It's something that I don't know. The 2010s, they were not good. right? They were not good, but they were great in the beginning. But it doesn't matter if they were good or great. They were my childhood. They were my childhood, and overall, I had a pretty okay time, right? It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad, right? And the 2010s is something that, you know, while it was mediocre, I can look fondly back on, right? I don't have many good memories of 2010s, the 2010s, yeah. But at the same time, every time I think back to those days, I have a sense of nostalgia, yeah. And when I become like 50 years old or something, I will look back on the 2010s and I'll be like, God damn, those were the days, man, when all I had to deal with was just some spankings and listening to fucking Katy Perry. Man, those were the days, man. Those were the days. Oh man, it's crazy to think, man. It's crazy to think. I was an 05 kid, right? I was an 05 kid, 2005, yeah. Even though I was born in 2005, the 2010s were my childhood, right? The 2010s were my childhood. There, like, and now we're in 2023. And this is the year that I graduate out of high school, and I get to experience college life, and I get to experience the real world, you know, I get to experience the real world. I cannot wait. Just kidding. I'm a little scared. But also, I'm a little excited. Even though, you know, even though I'm excited and stuff like that, you know, I'm the reason why, like, yeah. Like, I just, listening to some old music, you know, back, like, last decade, it just made me just fucking so nostalgic. And I just want to talk about it, right? Because, obviously, you know, obviously every generation has their own, like, nostalgia moment in their lives. And, you know, me, as an 05 kid, you know, as a 2005 kid, the 2010s was my childhood, you know? It was a good time. 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 I'll say that much. Now, don't get me wrong. Later years were not so good. And the best years of 2010s was probably the early 2010s. But even still, overall, I give the 2010s a wonderful experience. Right? It was a wonderful experience for me because it was my childhood, right? Bad memories, good memories. I gotta say, I'm still fond of 2010, man. I'm still fond of 2010. Those are the times, man. Times were so simple back then. Times are so simple. And I know I'm gonna keep saying this as I fucking become older and older and older, dude. The 2010s were something else, man. They were something else. They were something else. Yeah, they were something else. It was the age of the modern internet. Literally. The age of the modern internet. Oh, man. And I was fucking right... I lived right smack through that shit, right? I know the millennials out there, they're gonna be like, oh, we lived as, like, our childhoods were like back in the day when, you know, technology was first booming and shit. Well, my childhood is, you know, the age of this modern internet, yeah? The age of the modern internet. And I have to say, it's pretty good. It was a pretty good childhood, but it had many downsides. But even still, after all that, I have nostalgia, right? I still have nostalgia. You know, 2020 through 2023 right now, right? I mean, it's been a pretty okay. It's been pretty meh couple years in the you know, the 2020s, but man, looking back at the 2010s, they were so much better. They were so much better. I hope 2020s, hopefully the 2020s can prove me wrong. Hopefully this can be the best decade yet, right? The best decade yet. Maybe this is the best decade of my life. Who knows? Who knows? I have so much to live for, right? I have so much to live for. I got a couple decades ahead of me before I die, right? So, might as well make this one count as well, right? Might as well make this one count. But goddamn, man. Man, the 2010s, they went and they're gone now. That's crazy to think about. And the only reason why I'm talking about this is because I was fucking listening to some fucking Gangnam Style. The best song, by the way, the best song in the 2010s was Gangnam Style, 100%. But man, my childhood is gone. It's gone, guys. It's gone. And even if you weren't born in 05 or 04 or whatever, or you know, you weren't, you know, even if your childhood wasn't in the 2010s, you know, even still, right? Even still, I think you could still appreciate the 2010s, right? It tried its best. It tried its best to be a pretty okay decade, and I'd say it succeeded, right? I say it succeeded. A lot of stuff happened. I would say it's a very influential decade. I would say, right there with the 1930s and the 1950s. I would say the 2010s were pretty good, if I say so myself. I'm just kidding. Why would I ever lie? It was pretty mediocre, let's be real here. But I gotta say, man, what a time, you know, what a time to be alive. And what a time 2010, what a time the 2010s were. My name's been Austin, and I'm done fucking talking about nostalgia moments. And I realize that now I have to be part of society now. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!